Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. Whether you're tuning in because you're looking for clarity, healing, or just that one sentence to finally make it all click, I see you, I respect you, and you're in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about something that could quite literally save you years of your life, not in theory, not in some abstract way, but in a very real, personal, soul-saving way. You see, relationships are one of the most beautiful and one of the most dangerous places to waste time. You can spend 5, even 10 years of your life emotionally invested in something that's not growing you, not supporting you, and not truly loving you. And the worst part, that you may not even realize it and it's too late. We've all been there, holding on to someone who keeps showing us mixed signals, convincing ourselves that the next version of them will be different, tolerating emotional crumbs because we're afraid of being alone. But here's the true thing, that being alone never hurts as much as being with someone who makes you feel invisible. And that's what today's message is all about, helping you stop wasting time on the wrong people there so you can start investing in the right life. If you apply what we're about to talk about, I promise you'll stop chasing the wrong kind of love and start attracting the kind that actually fills your soul. So let's dive in there, because the sooner you learn these lessons, the sooner you set yourself free. One of the biggest mistakes we make in love, and let's be honest, we've all done it, is falling for someone's potential instead of the person standing right in front of us. It starts innocently enough. You meet someone and maybe they're inconsistent. Then maybe they aren't communicating the way you deserve. Maybe they're not emotionally available yet. Or maybe their life is a mess, but you see flashes, you see moments of brilliance, tiny glimpses of who they could be. You say to yourself, if they could just heal from their past, or once they figure out their career, or they're just afraid to love deeply because of what they've been through. And you wait months, even years, hoping that one day they'll blossom into this emotionally present, committed version of themselves. But the hard truth, you didn't fall in love with a real person. You fell in love with a fantasy. And here's the thing, potential doesn't equal progress. Promises don't equal change. And when someone shows you through their actions that they're not ready, not willing, or not able to love you the way you deserve, it is not your job to mold them into a partner. That's not love. It's emotional labor dressed up as loyalty. And that loyalty can cost you years of your lifetime you'll never get back. The truth is, we stay stuck because the fantasy feels safer than the reality. We'd rather believe in who they might become than confront who they actually are. But growth doesn't happen in someone else's potential. It happens when you love yourself enough to walk away from inconsistency, confusion, and crumbs. You deserve a love that shows up every day, not just on the days when it's convenient. So here's your reminder, you are not here to build someone, fix someone, or coach someone into loving you better. You're not in a relationship to raise someone emotionally. You're here to meet someone who is ready right now to love, to commit there, and to give you peace, because the right person won't need convincing, rescuing, or waiting for. They'll already be showing up consistently there, because real love doesn't live in potential. It lives in action. Let's talk about something that quietly breaks your heart over time. Chasing love there. And I mean, really think about that for a moment, the idea that something as beautiful, as nourishing, as grounding as love should have to be chased. If you're always the one texting first, they're always trying to keep the connection alive, always wondering if they're still interested. Let me tell you, something might hurt now, but will save you in the long run. That's not love there. That's anxiety. That's survival mode disguised as romance. If you constantly feel like you're on edge, analyzing every word, every emoji, every pause between messages, realize that that's not a relationship. That's emotional scarcity. You weren't built to beg for someone's attention. You weren't put here to decode someone's silence. Realize that love isn't supposed to feel like a roller coaster you never asked to ride. Real love doesn't make you question your worth every day. It doesn't leave you hanging or make you feel you're only like good enough when you're being entertaining, availing, available, or perfect. You shouldn't have to earn someone's effort. You shouldn't feel like you're competing with their distractions, their ego, or their fear of commitment. And I know part of you thinks, if I just try harder, realize that if I just prove I'm worth, they'll finally see what they have in me. But listen closely. Someone who doesn't see your value today won't suddenly discover it tomorrow just because you overextend yourself. You deserve to be chosen by someone who wants to choose you, not someone you have to remind you exist. And the harsh truth is, the more you chase, the more they pull away. Why? Because people value what they invest in. And if you're doing all the work, all the initiating, all the emotional heavy lifting, they have no reason to rise to your level. That's not a relationship, a one-person performance. Love isn't about convincing someone to stay. It's about two people who both want to show up, who both want to build something, who both lean in, especially when it's hard. So here's your breakthrough moment. If it feels like you're constantly proving, persuading, or performing, take a step back and ask yourself, what would it feel like to be with someone who simply meets me where I am? Not someone you have to chase, but someone who walks toward you willingly. Because the truth is, when someone is emotionally ready and values you, they don't make you question how they feel. They make you feel safe. And safety is sexy. Effort is attractive. Certainty is magnetic. If you have to chase it, it's not love.
Yeah.
It's a lesson, a hard one, but one that will set you free the moment you stop running after what's already running away. Let's get one thing straight. Setting a standard is not the same as issuing an ultimatum. But so many people confuse the two because they've never been taught the difference. Standards come from self-worth. Ultimatums come from fear. When you set a standard, you're saying, this is what I know I deserve and what I'm willing to accept in my life. You're not threatening, manipulating, or trying to pressure someone into changing. You're simply stating your truth and acting on it. But here's where people go wrong. They try to force someone to meet their needs by issuing ultimatums like, if you don't do this, I'm gore. You better start acting right, or else say, that's not a boundary. That's a power struggle. And it usually backfires. Realize that because real boundaries don't require shouting or drama. They require follow through. When you set a standard, you're not trying to control the other person. You're controlling what you allow. Realize that and that's powerful. Because the moment you realize you don't have to fight to be respected, you stop entertaining people who make you question your worth. Think about it. Lies there. You'd argue with a waiter about what's on the menu. If the restaurant doesn't serve what you want, you go somewhere else. But in relationships, we stay seated at the wrong tables, begging for scraps, because we're afraid no one else will show up with what we need. And that fear traps you in cycles of emotional depletion. But here's the truth. The right person won't be offended by your standards. They'll respect them. The right person won't need a warning to treat you well. They'll already be doing it. Realize that So if you find yourself constantly having to remind someone of how to love you, it's not that you're too much. It's that they're not enough for the level you're on. And instead of lowering your standards to match their inconsistency, what if you just rose above their chaos and said, no more? No more accepting their minimum. Then no more hoping someone grows into the partner they promised. There'd be no more giving warnings with no action there, because your life doesn't change when you wish people would treat you better. It changes when you require it quietly, firmly. So ask yourself, what have I been tolerating just to keep the peace? And who do I become when I finally decide that peace within myself is more important than connection with someone who drains me? You don't have to fight for respect when you live like someone who expects it. So don't issue ultimatums. Walk in your standard. The right people won't just accept it, they'll rise to it. Let's talk about chemistry. That electric, magnetic, can't breathe when they're near you, feeling that pulls you in like gravity. It's powerful, it's intoxicating, it's addictive. But here's the hard truth. Chemistry alone is not enough to build a healthy relationship. You can have explosive chemistry with someone who is completely wrong for you. And that's the trap. We confuse intensity with intimacy. We think this has to mean something. I've never felt this before, and we cling to that spark like it's proof of destiny. But chemistry doesn't mean they're your person. It just means your nervous systems happen to light up in each other's presence. And sometimes, let's be really honest, that spark is actually a trauma bond in disguise. It's not attraction, it's familiarity. It's your wounds recognizing theirs. And what we call passion is sometimes just emotional chaos. So while you're getting butterflies, ask yourself, do I actually like who this person is? Can I trust them? Do I feel safe with them? Or am I just addicted to the highs and lows, the chase, the mystery, the drama that makes it feel like love, but isn't? Because here's the thing, chemistry can get you into a relationship But compatibility is what keeps you there. Compatibility looks like shared values, emotional maturity, aligned lifestyles, similar communication styles, and mutual respect. It's quiet, it's steady. It doesn't always come with fireworks, but it brings something way more important: peace. And peace, my friend, is underrated until you've been at war with someone who only loved you when it was convenient. So if the connection is hot, but you're constantly anxious, constantly trying to figure out where you stand, constantly triggered or misunderstood, that's not passion. That's your nervous system begging you to listen. You can have the best sex of your life and still feel alone. You can laugh all night and still not feel emotionally safe. You can have amazing chemistry and zero compatibility, and you will exhaust yourself trying to build a life on that unstable ground. Because you're not just dating someone's energy, you're dating their habits, their values, their communication, their patterns when life gets hard. The real question isn't, do we spark? It's, do we work? Do we handle conflict well? Can we grow together? Do they respect my time, my voice, my needs? And do I like who I am around them? The right relationship will still have attraction, but it'll also have stability, respect, and emotional safety. So don't mistake the adrenaline rush for a soul connection. Don't chase the high at the cost of your peace. Chemistry may light the fire, but compatibility builds the foundation, and it's the foundation that determines whether the fire lasts or burns the whole house down. Choose peace over sparks. Choose compatibility over chaos, because one day you'll realize the most romantic thing in the world is feeling safe with someone who actually fits. This is the hardest truth to accept when it comes to love. You can love someone deeply, sincerely, maybe even unconditionally, and still need to walk away. And I know that sounds contradictory. We've been taught that love means staying, fixing, holding on, that if you really love someone, you never give up on them. But here's what no one tells you. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to leave. You can love someone with your whole heart and still realize that the relationship is breaking you. You can care about them more than you've ever cared about anyone and still recognize that you're not growing anymore, that you're constantly compromising parts of yourself just to keep the connection alive. Love is not supposed to cost you your peace. It's not supposed to ask you to abandon your needs, your voice, your values, or your worth. But so many people stay because they think walking away means they never loved that person. No, walking away often proves how much you love them and yourself, because choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's sacred. And sometimes love exists, but alignment doesn't, timing doesn't, maturity doesn't, reciprocity doesn't. And you can't carry a relationship by yourself, no matter how pure your heart is. You can't do the work for them. You can't love them into healing. You can't stay just because the memories were beautiful or because you once dreamed of a future together. If your present is hurting you, it doesn't matter how perfect the past felt. You have every right to love someone and still say, this isn't healthy for me. You have every right to cry over someone and still close the door. Because love is a feeling, but staying is a choice. And not everyone you love is meant to walk the entire journey with you. Some are meant to teach you, stretch you, challenge you, and then release you. And the release is where the real strength comes in. You're not weak because you walked away, you're wise. You realized your heart deserves more than effort that's one-sided, conversations that go in circles, and the constant ache of maybe one day. Sometimes maybe one day becomes never. And if someone can't meet you now as you are, where you are, fully, then loving them from a distance is not only okay, it's necessary. So don't let guilt keep you where growth has ended. Don't confuse pain with loyalty. Don't confuse endurance with love. And don't ever let the words, "but I love them," be the reason you stay in something that's quietly destroying you. Because the deepest act of self-love, the one that truly saves years of your life, is learning to walk away from love that's real, but no longer right. So here we are, after all the lessons, all the raw truths, and all the hard conversations, it comes down to this: your life, your peace, your heart, they are yours to protect. Love, as magical as it is, should never be the reason you abandon yourself. And if you've seen yourself in any of these truths, if you've stayed too long, chased too hard, lowered your standards, ignored red flags because the chemistry was unreal, or held on because you thought love meant never letting go, please hear this: it's not too late to choose differently. It's not too late to stop losing yourself in people who only show up halfway. It's not too late to raise your standards without apology, to walk away from potential that never becomes reality, or to admit that the spark isn't worth the suffering. Sometimes the boldest, bravest thing you will ever do in love is to stop trying, to stop probing, to stop waiting, and to finally say, I deserve more than this, because you do. You deserve the kind of love that feels calm, consistent, and clear, not love that gives you whiplash. You deserve to be chosen in the daylight, not just craved in the dark. You deserve effort without begging, peace without punishment, growth without guilt. And while that may sound like a dream right now, I promise you it's real. But you'll never find it as long as you're holding space for the wrong people. You don't need to be more patient. You don't need to be more understanding. You don't need to shrink yourself to fit someone's comfort zone. What you need is to be radically honest about what's not working and to have the courage to leave, even if your heart is still invested. Because when you love yourself enough to stop settling, you stop wasting time. And that's the most powerful shift you can ever make. The truth is, relationships won't always be easy. There will always be challenges, miscommunications, and seasons that test you. But when you're with the right person, even the hard parts feel like something you can face together. You don't feel like you're fighting alone. You feel like you're growing together. And that, not just passion, not just promises, not just pretty words, is what makes a relationship last. So don't be afraid to walk away from something that looks good but doesn't feel good. Don't be afraid to rewrite the rules you were taught. And don't be afraid to start over, even if it means being alone for a while, because peace is never a downgrade. Self-respect is never a mistake, and time spent healing is never wasted. Save your years, protect your heart, let go of what hurts. And when real love comes, love that's rooted in action, maturity, effort, and truth, you'll be so glad you made space for it. You'll look back and realize that walking away wasn't the end, it was the beginning of everything real.